Good morning. Welcome to Modesto Junior College. For 104 years, MJC has served the educational needs of our community. Generations of our residents have come through our doors, and they've emerged with certificates and with degrees to prepare themselves and their families for their futures. We're particularly proud of our many career education programs, including child development, computer science, all aspects of agriculture, a full sequence of healthcare career options from CNA through a bachelor's degree pathway with our partner agency, the State. We have welding programs, automotive, including electrical vehicles. We have robotics, advanced manufacturing, administration of justice, and many more. Today, we stand in the shadow of the Regional Fire Training Center, a vital training site for emergency service workers in fire technology and emergency medical services. We're enormously grateful for the support of Governor Newsom and the California legislature in providing essential resources to support our career education programs. With those funds, we've been able to modernize and update our training programs and to support our state and local economies into the future. New opportunities, including credit for prior learning, have allowed experienced experts in fields such as fire technology, industrial electronics, and healthcare to receive college credit for their learning experiences in the military and through industrial and other certifications. Coupled with general education courses offered by MJC's fantastic faculty members, these folks have been able to earn associate degrees and even baccalaureate degrees to advance their careers, including significant increases in wages and promotional opportunities. We stand ready to implement the governor's master plan for career education to increase career options throughout our region. Thank you for joining us today. All right, I'd like to introduce our student, Mason Manley.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Mason Manley. I'm 21 years old. I'm a student here at MJC. I also volunteer at a volunteer fire agency down the road, Burbank Paradise Fire District. I just wanted to start by saying that this program has been such a great opportunity for me to expand my learning and expand my knowledge. We have a great cadre where they really take care of us, and as you guys can see, top of the line equipment, top of the line training facilities. They really care about the students here. People from my own agency have also gone through this academy, and they have nothing but great things to say about our very diverse cadre. People 5 years plus removed, instructors are still reaching out and seeing if they have a job and seeing what they can do to help out their previous students. So it just makes me proud to be a part of that program. I'm also proud to say that we have a very diverse cadre from a lot of different agencies, so we can learn the skills and different ways to do things from different styles of departments. So we can get a very good idea of what we're going into. Also, another thing I'd like to add is previous stories about people maybe having a career change and coming into this academy late, and the instructors being nothing but open arms and accepting people, and they're looking forward to expanding the fire service and passing it down to that next generation. Now I'll be introducing McKenna Salazar.
Hi, good morning. My name is McKenna Salazar. I'm the Executive Director of the We Will Workforce and Education K-16 Collaborative in the Northern San Joaquin region. We're so very grateful for Governor Newsom and all other staff that are here today to support this work and allow us the opportunity to share our story. The We Will Workforce and Education Collaborative is a tri-county initiative spanning from Merced, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin counties. We began with a bold vision to create seamless, equitable education to career pathways for students across the Northern San Joaquin region. Launched in 2022 through California's K-16 Collaborative Grant Program, We Will united K-20 education leaders, workforce partners, and industry stakeholders around a shared goal to break down silos, align systems, and better prepare students for high-demand careers. This cross-sector alliance includes K-12 schools, community colleges, university, and workforce boards and industry partners, united by a shared commitment to career and regional workforce development and expansion. More than a partnership, We Will became a movement, grounded in equity, access, and regional collaboration. The name reflects the spirit. We will act together to transform outcomes for students, especially those under-resourced. Through cross-sector work groups, regional data sharing, and co-designed pathways, the collaborative has accelerated dual enrollment, streamlined transfer pathways, and built stronger bridges between education and employment. Every initiative has centered the student experience, ensuring supports are not just available, but accessible and meaningful. We Will is not just a collaborative, it's a movement. Together across institutions and industries, we are ensuring that every student in the Northern San Joaquin Valley has access to high quality, equitable, and career-connected learning, helping them to fill the regional talent pipeline and create seamless transition opportunities for students. We Will has grown into a model of innovation and collective impact, proof of what's possible when systems align and a community commits to doing better by its students and its residents. I'd like to take the opportunity now to introduce the mayor of the city of Modesto, Ms. Sue Zwollen.
Thank you. Good morning. We are here in Modesto, California today to highlight the significance of career and technical education. As a registered nurse serving 42 years in the emergency room and serving 8 years on the Modesto City Schools Board of Education, I know from personal experience that specialized educational programs provide students with hands-on training and skills necessary to fill in-demand jobs in industries such as manufacturing, healthcare, and business. Healthcare is especially important to Modesto, our region, and our state, as we work diligently towards enhancing public safety and emergency services. We need passionate and focused professionals that show up every day to make a difference in people's lives. We need people with the skills to ease someone's pain, to give relief, and show compassion during what feels like the worst moments in their lives. I have great comfort in knowing the students who succeed from career and technical educational opportunities are more than just a source of care, but a foundation for a thriving economy. One of the best ways to build for our future is to collaborate with our governor, giving students a career path, making education relevant and innovative, and supporting the needs of our communities. Today, we stand together, ready to empower and support the students who choose career and technical education paths, where a community for one becomes a community for all. Thank you so much, and now I would like to introduce our California State Assemblyman and Chair of our Education Committee, Al Mertucci.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and good morning, everyone. My name is Al Mertucci, and I chair the Assembly Education Committee. And I'm so proud to be here to join the governor, as well as all of our career technical education providers here in Modesto and throughout the region. You know, there aren't a lot of issues that Democrats and Republicans really come together to feel passionate about, but career technical education is definitely one of them. And, you know, the last time I was with the governor, we were in Shasta, at the Shasta Community College, and today we are at the Modesto Junior College. And I really commend the governor for focusing, elevating the importance of career technical education, because we know that these programs work. They're investing in our students, they're investing in our kids, and the research clearly shows the outcome, the success of career technical education programs in increasing attendance rates, increasing graduation rates, and most importantly, teaching them the real life, real world job skills that directly translate into addressing the workforce needs throughout the state of California. And so this initiative, the Master Plan for Career Education, is really elevating the importance, the priority for career technical education to invest in all parts of the state of California for all Californians. And I'm so happy to join everyone here for the unveiling, for the presentation of the Master Plan for Career Education. And to present this master plan is our Labor and Workforce Secretary, Stuart Knox.
Good morning. This is quite an example of a lot of work that's been put in, mostly from the regions, and I think this is mostly about the students that are behind us today, standing behind you. This is about making education easier access points. Adults that have not went through an education, formal education or career training program, it's about access points. It's about how the state can ease the pain to the regions. We've listened to all 13 regions within the state of California, and it's also connecting our new Jobs First plan. So these two mirror each other in terms of our outcomes. What our goal is to make it easier for these students to get good, high-paying jobs, and that's what this plan represents. With that, I'd like to give this to our governor and introduce our governor. Thank you, Governor.
There it is. All right. Thank you, Stuart. So this, first of all, I want to just recognize and thank everybody that we had an opportunity to meet with over the last hour. We had a roundtable discussion about all their hard work, not only here in the region, but throughout the state of California. But I just want to thank all of you and those that are not here, those that participated in this process that began in August of 2023. I had the privilege of signing an executive order laying out a vision and making the case that we need to reimagine our workforce and economic development strategies in this state. We need to take that same kind of intentionality that was brought to bear when we developed the state's first master plan for higher education in the 1960s, where the leaders of the state in the 1960s recognized the world was radically changing. And the need to focus on degree attainment became more and more critical. A country at the time where just 8% of people had a 4-year college degree, but there was a recognition of the world we were about to live in, and the recognition of the importance and imperative of investing in the future. Because if you don't invest in the future, you're not going to do very well there. That same kind of intentionality we hope to bring to this effort, recognizing that things are once again changing dramatically. As we're moving mobile, local, social, cloud, crowd, as things are radically reorganizing, as we start to reconcile the fact that no one cares how much you know because ChatGPT knows more. And that requires a different level of sophistication and insight in terms of how we navigate not just jobs of the future, but career opportunities in the future. And so people came together, Stuart and the team at our workforce development agencies, along with Dee Dee Myers at our economic agency, and worked with over 840 people over the process of the last 18 months to develop this new master plan for career education. We also incorporated, McKenna and others reflected and braided and blended 3 other initiatives together. I've been out with many of you over the course of the last number of months all across the state of California. Chair Narsucci was generous enough with his time to go up to Northern California, to Shasta, where we were focusing on our Jobs First plan. The fact that we've organized through 13 regional collaboratives an unprecedented investment in identifying key areas of attributes, areas of aspiration, areas where we have to strengthen our resolve and focus as it relates to the issues of economic and workforce development. And we recognize that California, the state that's larger than 21 state populations combined, is not a single economy. It's the intersection of many local and regional economies. So we laid out an economic vision that's predicated bottom up, not top down, on 13 economic strategies. And we organized that over the course of a number of months and just announced that plan just a few weeks ago in Los Angeles. And this plan is a plan that was working in parallel with that, as well as the one that McKenna was referencing, We Will, which I like the intentionality there. We Will, our K through 16 collaborative, which was force function focus on getting K through 12 education systems and systems of higher learning to begin to collaborate more aggressively on the workforce side and to connect with the business community. So those are the 3-legged stools: Jobs First, the K through 16 collaborative, and now the Career Master Plan. And the whole idea is we want you to see yourself in this plan. We don't want to feel excluded. We don't want to feel like we're talking down to you or talking past you. This is not about the fact your life is over if you don't have a fancy 4-year degree. Quite the contrary, that you can thrive, not just survive, in this new economy. And I think what is so remarkable about this plan, it also recognizes all those skills that you already have and bringing to bear those skills so that you also can partner with institutions of higher learning to take those skills and use those skills to get a degree if you want to upskill. And this notion of prior learning becomes important. I mean, imagine you spend years and years in the military. You have all that basic training, all that technical training, and then you got to go to a community college to get a degree or a 4-year university, and you're starting to take those same courses that you've mastered over the course of your career in the military. And we're saying, wait a second, you've got those baseline courses. If you want a degree that is proximate to the lived experience you have, we want to provide credit for that real life experience. So the biggest beneficiaries of degrees for prior learning or prior learning experience, for example, will be our veterans. And we've identified in this plan a goal of 30,000 veterans that we want to seek to support in these efforts. Over 250,000 more broadly, EMTs that want to get a credential, that want to get a pay raise because they got a degree, are able to take that prior learning and incorporate it into the framework of this new strategy that we're advancing. We're also trying to advance a framework around taking the idea of an academic transcript and having a career transcript, both and we're calling it a career passport. And we're asking the legislature, Chairman Succi and others, for $50 million to advance that effort. It's exciting. I think it's enlivening, this notion of an e-transcript connected not just to academic achievement, but to skills mastery. Taking that experience you had, not just as an EMT, but that experience you may have had in the real estate industry, and incorporating it and having the ability to get units and credit. Now you're moving more quickly to advancing your credentialing and your degree attainment and providing those pathways and opportunities. As well, the passport also has a mindset, and that is once you enter into high school, we want you to have conversations along these lines. We want you to sort of have this notion that there's opportunities, and we don't want to, it's not top down, we want to allow you to explore. So this notion of dual enrollment, the opportunity to look at apprenticeship opportunities, opportunities to start to develop an understanding of opportunities, again, beyond just your high school experience. And so all of these things are incorporated into this plan. There's 6 key areas. I won't go into all the areas of detail except to say that this is a detailed strategy. It's a detailed plan. It's a vision for the future. It's anchored on all the hard work and local effort and ingenuity over the course of the last many years. And so thank you all again for all of the effort and the hard work. I want to thank the legislature for helping support this effort. K through 16 Collaborative was backed up with $250 million in 2021. Our efforts that were advanced in the executive order on this program also had component parts in terms of strengthening state partnerships and regional partnerships. We're asking for some additional support in this year's budget. The Jobs First plan has provided unprecedented grants for demonstration projects and ongoing investments to make real these visions. And that, I think, in closing, is what really distinguishes this. These are not plans that collect dust. In the process of developing these plans, we've demonstrated support, we've demonstrated commitment, and we've funded efforts and pilots in real time so people feel like their work is being valued and made visible. And so that's the spirit that defines this. And if I'm not coming across enthusiastic, I'm not doing justice. This has been a point of pride. This is long overdue. And final words, we're practicing what we preach. And I'll give you one specific proof point. And for all of you out there as well, behind the cameras, we looked in California at all of our requirements to get a state job. And we have already eliminated college degree requirements for over 30,000 jobs, and now are looking to double that in the next calendar year. So we're trying to create real opportunities. We're not denying the importance of higher education, a four-year degree, quite the contrary. That's what this prior learning framework is about. But we're also not trying to turn our back on people that just don't see that in their future, but that want to live their lives again out loud and thrive in this economy. So we're grateful you all took the time to be here, and of course we're here to answer any questions, but over there, not at the mic. Thank you all very much. You guys come back, just, if you guys have any specific questions, stand back here. Stand behind me. I know, you don't have to be associated with me. Anyway, thank you for all coming out. And as I say, just a point of personal privilege, I want to thank Ben Cheetah, who was on my staff, helped inspire this years and years ago. You don't have to write that down. If you did, that's nice of you. But Ben was critical in helping pull this together, and most importantly, pull all the component parts of this together. There's the state collaboration, which in and of itself was, wrestling with different silos and different agencies and rules and regulations, civil service, and breaking that down, then focusing on the regional components, but connecting the community college, the K through 12 community college and the higher ed systems with all our workforce boards, I think 45 of them, all across the state. This has been, I don't want to, I'm prone to hyperbole, obviously, when it comes to moments like this, but I don't want to understate the significance of this effort in terms of the work that was done, and how I think it really is a compelling vision for the future, where I think more and more people will feel included, and I think that's critical in this state. 37% of the state have four-year degrees, which means the vast majority of people do not. And I think sometimes when we talk about the future, we talk as if the future is going to be bleak or darker if you don't have a degree, and that's not the case. As important as degree attainment is, and we want to make that more compelling option. We want to continue to make it more affordable. We have work to do on the affordability side, but we also want to make a case anew for career opportunities and career paths, again, not just jobs. With that, happy to take any questions.
Governor, a couple of questions about this proposal. Since you rolled it out at the end of last year, there were some key components like the digital passport or the coordinating body that you proposed that were met with some criticism from like the LAO and some legislators whose cooperation you would need to get this done. So have you been working with them to work through those, hesitations or doubts about this approach, or can you give us any?
Yeah, I'm not familiar of any of the critiques where we haven't chosen the tech platform as it relates to the career passport. We've learned a lot of lessons. I mentioned Alabama, or maybe I didn't mention to you, but I mentioned the roundtable we have. Alabama has a component of a career passport that we've learned from. Indiana has as well. So we're incorporating some lessons learned, some understanding as it relates to those approaches. They'll be part of the conversation we have with Chair Marisucci in the upcoming session. There's $50 million that's component part, and so we'll be dialoguing through that process. As it relates to other independent analyses, we continue to maintain, and as we roll something out, an open mind, an iterative mindset, and look forward, of course, to work with all stakeholders, but most importantly, as it relates to the specific budgetary request, with this guy right here, the chair of the Education Committee, who I'm very grateful took the time to be here, and is not only taking the time to be here, is a big champion of this broader effort, and I have all the confidence in the world it will scrutinize our detailed proposal and make it stronger.
And just one more thing on that point. The criticism, it seems like, of doing this through a separate coordinating body is that will take much longer. It could be years to set that up and get these things going. Why take that approach instead of just doing it directly through your office and taking direct action?
Sure, I'll take that one. So while the coordinating body is set up, we're actually starting the regional work now. So that within the 13 regions, as we talked about the K-16 collaboratives, that work has already begun. We talk about the California Jobs First. That work is already being done, and it's already in implementation phase. And then in the regions within this work, we've already started some implementation. So we've worked with philanthropy. We have some funding already through philanthropic groups, and that work has already begun. So we've already started to assess their needs, had conversations with them, and developing a strategy. So while the coordinating body at the state level starts to implementation, we're already beginning the work on the ground.
But I guess why not do it just directly through the governor's office? Why have a coordinating body at all?
Well, I think it's important that we have a coordinating body at the state level, because as that information starts to bubble up from the regions, we need a body that is all the parties are at the table, that we can have a conversation about what the issues are, how do we address them, and how do we implement them. So that's why it's important to have the body.
By the way, just on philanthropy, just because, thank the Haas Foundation, Stewart Foundation, Ballmer Foundation, Gates Foundation, all of them, including Eli Broad Foundation, all of them were participatory. And I say that, there's a few others, because it shows the breadth of the support from philanthropy in this space, which I think is interesting. And I think they seeded, $1.5 million already. And so it's starting to continue to grow. And that's also another important part of this larger effort.
I have a couple of questions about podcasts. This is your first press conference since you've been listed. And I just, for folks who see you governing, but also see you on that platform, I guess how much of what you say on that podcast, and I'm not just talking about trans-related stuff, building, CEQA, et cetera, how much of that will translate into how you govern these next 1.5 years?
Difficult to make that determination. I spend an hour a week on this. I think I have a conversation tomorrow with someone, and conversation takes many different forms, shapes. Sometimes what you expect will be discussed. Sometimes things come up that are off topic, that become topical. But it's not an agenda-setting effort. I'm not trying to legislate from that prism using this platform. That's the work I do as governor. To the extent it crosses over, you talk to an Ezra Klein, and he's talking about this framework of abundance, and he's talking about litigation and CEQA and NEPA and Reagan and Nixon, and that crossover around high-speed rail and other things, housing, supply and bound, that obviously crosses over quite nicely with the work we're doing. Was highlighted, and I appreciate Buffy Wicks and the 20-plus bills she introduced, was highlighted and underscored in the conversation that we had of I think, her sort of renewed enthusiasm, of my enthusiasm in this space, which has been well established as it relates to judicial review and some of the reforms we made over the course of the last many years. So, I think component parts, but I want to overread it because I have so-and-so on. This is some new agenda. It's what I said it was going to be, which is opportunity to have conversations with people that I agree with and disagree with. To have the kind of conversations that I have in private, but to make them public, to be even more transparent in that process. And to the extent that big ideas come from private conversations I have, and they can be incorporated into policy making, I think it would be wonderful if those public conversations generated an idea or two as well. But that, again, is not the intention of the podcast.
And just to hear it from you, I mean, you're not being compensated at all for this, no financial aid ever.
No, and it's the exact same format as the prior one. And we had all those fancy attorneys figure all that out, and it's all transparent on the 700 form and all that. So it's not $1. In fact, this has cost me money, but that's another conversation. Yeah, no, geez, okay. Okay.
What's your response to that vote? And also, should there, from your position as governor, should there be a California state law that restricts trans athletes from playing in those sports?
Well, I didn't pay any attention to the committee yesterday. I was literally spent most of the day talking about fire recovery with our teams. And progress is being made there, by the way, but we're starting to run up into some of those abundance conversations around permitting that's already starting to take shape, where most of my focus was yesterday. As it relates to that issue, my position is, I think, known, and that issue came to the fore with me on multiple occasions as governor. Came right into the office. We had a state track meet where there were two athletes that got into the finals. And because of, because people's reaction to that, they ended up not playing in the finals. And so you had 2 folks that didn't get in, 2 folks that did, no one playing. We tried to figure out how to balance this. Is there a way to make this work? We worked with experts. We literally were talking to some of International Olympic Committee experts. We talked to our own state experts. We were trying to figure this out and couldn't figure it out. And that's my point of view, that I just couldn't figure out how to, quote unquote, make this fair. That said, I don't know there's a bigger champion for LGBTQ rights as an executive in the country. And I mean that. That's done more over the course of decades than I have. And so I'm deeply sensitive and empathetic to the community. And I can't stand those that demean the community and bully the community, talk down and use this to weaponize a political agenda. And I made that point. I said, you can hold both things in your hand in terms of the statement that I made on this at the time. And I continue to make that point. And so I'm looking just for empathy. These kids just want to survive. And so the question you're asking is the question we've been asking ourselves for months and haven't been able to answer. What is that finally? How can you make this fair? And I haven't been able to figure it out. And I'm about as transparent about this as anybody out there, particularly in my party, on this. And to the extent someone can and do it in a way that's respectful and responsible and could find the kind of balance, then I'm open to that discussion. That said, this is not where all my energy flows. You're talking about a very small number of people, a very small number of athletes. And my responsibility is to address the pressing issues of our time. And this, I think, has been colored in and weaponized by the right to be 10x, 100x bigger than it is. And so my focus is on a myriad of other issues in this state. And to the extent that someone could find that right balance, I would embrace those conversations and the dignity that hopefully presents themselves in that conversations, meaning the humanity around that conversation, not the politics around that conversation.
You made some interesting comments to the LA Times in relation to the kind of pushback that you got from those comments, saying that you felt like you understood more than ever some of the right-wing criticisms of how Democrats have handled disagreements around this issue. And that came also a few days after your interview with Bill Maher, where you mentioned feeling like people tried to cancel you. And I'm wondering what you...
Well, I don't know about anyone canceling. That has nothing to do with... Well, let me answer the question. Specific. It's broader than that. I think it goes to the broader issue of having conversations with people you disagree with. That's fundamentally what those comments were about. And it's been difficult. It's difficult for some people. Certain people just aren't interested in having conversations with other people, and they have strong opinions about that. And so good people can disagree. And yeah, people have strong opinions and have expressed that in dismissive ways. And so I reflected on that. And I do have a bigger understanding. I mean, people don't like being talked down to or passed. People, the world of, not from a gender perspective, this notion of everything's binary. It's this or that. And there's nuance in the world. And I think it's important to have space of nuance. And I'm trying to find that. That's why I'm doing this podcast. And obviously it struck a chord because we're still having this conversation. But I think it's important to have difficult conversations, or even have a civil conversation that may be difficult for people to listen to, because everybody's out there trying to tear each other down. And there's plenty of play. The world is polluted with that. Social media is polluted with that. I offer no value in that space. I'm not trying to tear everybody down. Why am I back in the Central Valley? Because I don't like the way people talk about the Central Valley. I don't like the way people talk down to the folks out in the Central Valley. I made that point on Bill Maher, too. I don't like people talking past these folks. So I keep coming back to make a point. It's consistent with what I've done all my life. I mean, I remember I married in a big Republican family. I don't know how many times I said that, but I don't know if people pay attention to that. What does that mean? That means I love and respect people I politically disagree with. And so for me, having conversations with people I disagree with is consistent with that. Heck, I spend almost, 3 hours in the Oval Office with President Trump. We're engaged in, constant battle of ideas and values, lawsuits, another one we filed yesterday. So, that's the approach. And there's some strong opinions there, and I was reflecting on those. Anybody else?
Mr. Governor, yes. So 2 questions. Speaking of the Trump administration, are you concerned? First of all, how was that letter that the U.S. Secretary of Education wrote you? Are you concerned that they're going to?
Well, I haven't even read it. I think it was a press release that I read about before the letter arrived. When letters arrive in the press before they arrive in the mail, they tend to be press releases, not inquiries for common ground. I was surprised, having not yet read the letter, that the Secretary of Education, whose sole job it seems to be is to eliminate her job, is demanding a response to an agency she wants to eliminate. I believe it's the same Secretary of Education not only wants to eliminate the Department of Education, but wants to provide states' rights. I think that was the stated intent. And here she is imposing a national prism, command and control, and trying to influence states' rights on a topic. So, again, I haven't read the details of the letter. I read the press release or what was published around it. But I think you can read between the lines my position. But we'll respond because one should respond always civilly and timely.
But it's fundamentally a threat to take away money.
There's hundreds and hundreds. I think if I counted the number of threats to this state, I mean, that's on a list. I mean, we can run in 52 different directions every single day on all those threats, and hair on fire and the whole thing. So you adjudicate it, you respond to it, you take it seriously, you make a determination, as we do with the AG's office all the time. Have been. I think we're in 9 lawsuits in 9, 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Which ones are the most serious? Which ones are the most pressing? Which ones do we feel we don't have a solid litigation strategy, or at least there's shaky grounds and whatever it is, and we make those determinations. So I think there were 6 missives or something. I think the New York Times, you wrote that. Maybe it was your writing. I don't know. There's a headline: 6 different things, actions against California that day. Hardly seems coincidental. So there may be something else at work there, and so you just you take a look at it all and make a determination. But we take everything seriously. Take some things literally, and right now we take the most pressing issue, which is the uncertainty of tariffs and retaliatory tariffs that are inevitable, and a trade war that's inevitable with the actions that the president looks to make. We'll see in a matter of hours or minutes. It's almost, I guess, one.
Mr. Governor, also a very specific Central Valley question here from our Bakersfield state.
God bless. Yeah.
And this is on the issue of parole. It's a specific case.
I'm doomed. Wait a sec.
There's a gentleman, somebody by the name of Michael Todd Panella, sentenced to 25 years in 2000 for abusing and murdering a 20-month Jonathan Bell. Panella was granted parole 2021, but you reversed that decision, then granted parole again in 2024, but you did not reverse that decision. My understanding from our station there is that he's going to be released today. Did you have a reason why you did not reverse the decision?
Well, I've reviewed quite literally thousands and thousands of cases, so I want to be cautious in terms of an immediate response. We'll happily get that information back. Let me just say broad strokes. When I reverse a parole decision, we write a detailed letter as to why. That process then it goes to what we call an en banc committee, and they make a determination. Now, it's a reversal. It could be en banc. It could be a technical request of the parole board. But on a reversal, it gives that individual, after a period of time, the opportunity to go back in front of the parole board to address the concerns that we laid out in our reversal notification and letter. And those things are considered as it relates to a subsequent recommendation to me. And I'll consider whether or not that person continued programming, addressed the concerns that I highlighted in the reversal, made progress towards the goal of being rehabilitated, addressing whatever the details may have been with the victims, and then that's the ultimate determination. So that's not atypical. My reversal is not always in perpetuity. There's always an opportunity to come back, address the concerns that were stated. Forget the long-windedness. It's complicated.
Governor, the state of Rivers kind of raised concerns about the return of this
I don't know. I mean, my kids, I have 3 kids in public school, and teachers come to work every day. Remarkable heroes, sheroes that clean up the classrooms that are coming to work every single day. We're public servants, and I think it's important to show up for each other, for ourselves, connect with folks that we have disconnected with, create a sense of community, team. I think it strengthens work. I think it output and productivity. I want to see these neighborhoods, these downtowns come back to life. These poor mom and pops, they're out of business or barely holding on, trying to, sandwich store, and they're just desperate to see people back on the sidewalks. I'd like to see people walk in the streets again, sense of community. If I'm a young person, I mentor people all the time. People come to me, can we talk? I'm like, you got to show up. You got to be present. What we're doing, denying the next generation of promotion and opportunity, being seen and heard, they're just on a screen, a flat screen. So we're limiting their career paths as well. And this is 4 days a week. This was the gold standard dream. Give me the flexibility on day 4, with all respect. And we pay people, proud of, good benefits. I think the people of this state deserve our full, energetic commitment. A lot of people are able to do that at home, and so we do exceptions. We're not naive about that. There are certain work classifications, categories that flexibility can extend. But for, I think, the vast majority of us, certainly in my office, we're so much better off, so much more productive, so much more creative when we're together. And final word, biggest crisis in this country is everybody's never been more connected but more alone. Sitting on their device, depressed, isolated, going down the rabbit hole in the gendered world of social media, and all of a sudden Andrew Tate is your new mentor. God help, I'm not looking at you, the camera. And we see what's happening to our young men. There's some serious things here that to me are all, I'm pulling threads here. And hopefully you guys are editing this out, but I just really feel strongly we need to get out of Facebook and get back on the street and see people's faces. We went from 2 to 4. That may be my contribution to this cause. But if people want to get back 5 days a week, I think we'll all be better off. And if they'd like to do that for their own professional development, I certainly think we're down. We're trying to just get you 6 days, not 7. Right. She's currently 7, so we'll see.
If I can ask just one last question about Javier Becerra announced his candidacy for governor. Your thoughts on Javier Becerra as a candidate for governor in the field right now, and the likelihood or possibility that Kamala Harris could still enter that mix?
And you'll forgive me. I feel like Jerry Brown must have felt. I'm just at that point where I don't want to talk about these things. I really don't. I haven't focused on them. Someone literally texted me some article. I didn't even read it. So I am aware, because it was early morning text, and I didn't even open it up. It's just not my focus. It really hasn't been. And forgive me, it's like, this is not a professional thing to say. It's like more personal. It's a strain. It'd be like me talking about a year and a half, your place. Hey, this is a hotshot young reporter out there coming from Atlanta. What do you think of him? Or she's someone who really broke through in Dallas. What are your thoughts? And are you worried about Katie Couric coming back and taking your job? So I say all this with love. We'll have plenty of time to deal with this next year. Start asking me next year. Thanks.